Yes. Welcome back to the third episode of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, where we rejoined for round number 3 in Monaco. So early doors for Monaco, as usually in the previous F1 games, we tend to come to this racetrack like midway through the season, but third race in, and I think we're ready for the challenge. I mean, we haven't had too much time to prepare for it, and we've only had two races to get used to this game, so we shall see how we fare in this upcoming weekend. But yeah, last time out we were at Spain, and if you did miss the previous episode, then I've got to be honest, you didn't miss much, because on and off track I made some horrendous errors. I mean, to start off with, we started the race, and within the first lap I realised that car damage had been turned off, which was a nightmare, and just meant there was not going to be any sort of drama to this race and no sort of excitement to it. So yeah, and to top that off, we just made some bad decisions during the race, and that just led to a really, really boring race. However, things can only go up from here, and we're hopeful of a better race this time out. So if you want to join me on this My Team adventure, then be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you enjoy this race, then be sure to hit that like button, as it means a lot. As you may have just seen on the screen, we've managed to sign our first sponsorship, apart from the one we obviously got at the start of this career. And that's going to speed up revenue between races and going forward if we succeed in getting that objective. So if we outqualify our rival, or Drogovic does, then we get that sponsorship bonus. But right now we've got another interview with Will Buxton going over our new sponsor.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. You spoke a while back of a significant investment in your chassis department. Has this investment given your team the push it needs to make substantial gains this weekend?
Well, only time will tell, Will. We've been working well with all our departments, and although we've invested the most in our powertrain department at the beginning, we've also been trying to upgrade our departments that are lacking as well. But having said that, we have been working on upgrading a few parts on our powertrain, so hopefully these will come across the line on our next Grand Prix.
Oh, I've heard rumours you're having cash flow issues at the moment. Is this because of overinvestment in drivers and facilities, or is it something a bit more serious? Upgrades to your facilities seem to have stalled. Is there no more room for improvement, or are you prioritising other areas?
Well, like I said, we've been working on investing our departments earlier on in the season, and that's given us some breathing room to invest again. So yeah, we've just had a bit of time to think about upgrading some parts and R&D points instead.
It looks like you have a lot of new equipment at your chassis fabrication plant. Have you been investing heavily in it?
Not really. I mean, these are just upgrades that were needed to be done so we can stay competitive. So
your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development?
Yeah, definitely. We're always going to look to upgrade our second driver when we can, as they're going to get us the vital points that we need to get over the line and get to beating our rivals in the Constructors' Championship. So yeah, we've been working with our coaches to upgrade his pace as well a little bit. So hopefully that will show in the race.
It's been wonderful to spend some time with you. Best of luck out on track.
So yeah, if you have missed the previous episodes, then that was a little overview of what's happened so far in our career. But nevertheless, if you did see the previous episode, then we do not want a repeat of the last episode. So just to make sure, I'm going back to my simulation settings just to check if car damage was off. So we put it back to simulation. I mean, the car damage rate is on standard, so hopefully there won't be too many accidents on the field, but enough so there's enough drama and excitement for you guys at home. And yeah, we finished quick practice and managed to complete quite a few of the quick practice assignments, and those will count towards getting cheaper upgrades in the future. However, right now though, we're welcomed into Monaco with our first lap on our qualifying session here in Monaco, going into the Nouvelle chicane, and we've managed to hit our back end on that notorious corner, managed to just about to stay out of George Russell's way, but luckily we didn't have to take any sort of damage from that, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing anymore, because of our last race when we had car damage turned off. So yeah, it's a bit of a worrying sign when we do see something like that, but also at the same time we're good to go for another lap. So yeah, we go and do exactly that. We go and set another lap straight after our first one, just to try and get a feel for the racetrack and get into the groove of Monaco Grand Prix, as it's a difficult circuit to drive on, really, and especially on qualifying when I haven't had much experience on this game. And as we take a look at the leaderboard, we're already in drop zone for Q1. So some worrying signs here, as we should be realistically beating the likes of the Haas and Williams and the Alfa Romeo. So yeah, we need to step up a game, which we do on our third lap time, setting a green lap, but it's not good enough to get us through to Q2, unfortunately, as we get hit with a mechanical fault, and that's our qualifying session done, unfortunately. So yeah, lots of work to be made up in the race. Monaco favourite Charles Leclerc, he sets the fastest lap time of Q1, so it'll be great to see him in pole position if he can do the same in Q2 and 3.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today. Home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863. And, of course, a certain road race, first held here in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco, then. It's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Sainz, Vettel, Gasly, Fernando Alonso and Yuki Tsunoda. Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Kimi Raikkonen and Perez, Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Felipe Drugovich and Lance Stroll, Mazepin, Russell, Shah and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So shortly we'll begin our first race at Monaco on this year's game. And it's also the first time we're starting behind our teammate Drugovich, who had a great qualifying session in Q1 and managed to get up to P16, I think it was. So, yeah, props to him for doing a superb drive and qualifying ahead of us as we're starting in P21. So there's lots of positions to be made up on these first opening laps. And for that reason, we're going for the 2-stop just because I feel like the tyre wear, I mean, we've seen it in Bahrain, our tyres went off the balls when we did the 1-stop, and I just feel like in a circuit like Monaco, we're probably going to be locking up a lot as we're not used to the braking zones. So, yeah.
Hopefully, by using these medium compounded tyres, we can get the jump on some of these cars ahead of us that have started on the hard compounded tyres. So, let's get ready into this Monaco Grand Prix as we go to 5 red lights. And we are underway here for the Monaco Grand Prix as we get an electric start past Russell, jumping now ahead of us, ahead of the Williams car there as we go side by side with Mazepin going into the first corner. We get the jump on Stroll as we catch him napping, and already by the first corner we've managed to make our way up towards our teammates. So that's 4 places we've gained as we go up this hill side by side with Drugovich. Oh, so close. And we bang ties with our teammate. That's not something we want to see in any race, let alone Monaco, where the circuit's so tight and you're so close to these walls, where any mistake can be costly as we get the jump on Giovinazzi and Schumacher. Finesse on our way down the inside as we enter this tight portion of the circuit, almost losing our back end as we try and make the move work. But luckily we wrestle the car back into the flow of traffic, but that mistake there could have been game over for us. We did have a sneak peek down the inside of Raikkonen's Alfa Romeo at that hairpin, but there just wasn't enough room to make the move work without making contact with him. So we secured P15 for now after what has been an eventful opening lap here at Monaco. We managed to make the move on 7 positions and make our way up to P15 so far, and we could be on for a points finish if we continue to see more drivers get stuck in traffic like we have just seen. Looking ahead now, and I'm thinking we should definitely try and get Raikkonen within the next couple of laps, as he is on the hard tyres and Perez is clearly on the soft, so it'll be beneficial to move past Raikkonen as soon as possible so we can stay with Perez and continue to move forward in this race. Otherwise we're just going to get bogged down behind Raikkonen and lose out on some points which may prove to be very valuable come the end of the season, when hopefully we are challenging in the Constructors' Championship. I'm not meaning first or second, but I mean 4th, 5th or 6th, because wherever we place in that table will correspond to how much money we will get for next season. And going forward, we're going to want the money to be able to upgrade our facilities and move forward with our R&D. So it is all to play for at the start of the season, and every point matters. So let's get this move on Raikkonen done as fast as we can. Going into this hairpin, we can't quite see the gap there, and we're going to have to settle for P15 now. As we move on to the next lap, we seem to have lost some sort of composure as we've fallen almost half a second behind Raikkonen now. So now is the time to regain that composure and regain that race pace and try and catch up with him, because if we leave it too late or if we don't make the move now, then we're just going to fall further and further behind, and there won't be any points positions to play for as we make this mistake going into the Monaco home straight right when we're on the tail of Raikkonen, and the half second that we just made up has now been lost, and now we've just fallen further behind Perez. That just didn't need to happen, and now we're just going to be facing an uphill battle as we enter this next portion of the race. As our tyres begin to wear out, we're not going to be as effective against the likes of Raikkonen and Schumacher, who are on the hard tyres, and we're just going to slowly lose our race pace going forward in this race. So if we can get past Raikkonen within the next few laps, that would be great, but then after that, going forward, we're going to need to just be skillful and be patient with my racecraft and with my driving ability, just being careful not to knock into any of the barriers. I was getting so close once again. Just if we make the slightest of knocks on our front wing, then that could be game over for us, and a circuit like Monaco just gives you the finest of margins to work with. So waiting out for a safety car or waiting out for more traffic ahead of me to unfold will be my best bet, because Perez on the softs, he's not going to be caught. As we can see now, 2 laps later, we're on lap 6, and we're now 6 seconds off Perez and almost 3 seconds off Raikkonen. So these medium tyres are beginning to wear out fast, and faster than I would have thought. And I think that's because of, if you've watched my previous videos, you would have seen that I've mentioned that I'm beginning to use the anti-lock braking system, and it's just becoming difficult to get used to, especially on a track like Monaco where the braking distances are so short, and it's round number 3, so it's come so quickly in the pecking order in the season of things. So it's just a harsh reality to get used to as we come into the box now, as our tyres just feel short, even though they're not, but we're only on 19% on the front tyres, and it really just doesn't feel like we've got any sort of grip or any sort of downforce even. And I think, as you may have seen on screen just then, it looks like our front wing's got like a slight bit of damage to it, so that might have been why we've been starting to lose a bit of pace in the race. So we've gone into the hard tyres. We're trying to see if they have a bit of longevity to them and see if they have more grip than those mediums, as they're really not feeling like the right race tyre to me. So hopefully we're going to go onto a set of hards and then onto a set of softs right at the end. So hopefully this tactic will work, whatever sort of tactic it is. But yeah, let's see how these hard tyres fare up. I expect the other drivers will start to make their pit stop around lap 15 or around like lap 20-ish. So sort of between then is where we need to aim for and where we need to begin making moves. So for now, let's just use this clean air and try and regain that race pace that we had before. Showing off a bit now in last place as we drift out of that hairpin corner and drift around the next corner as well for good measure, because at the end of the day, in last place, there's not really much you can do. But it's only been half a lap, and these hard tyres are beginning to make me feel like I made the wrong choice and the wrong move during this race, as they really aren't just feeling like they're gripping into the corners properly or as much as I'd like them to. But at the end of the day, this is a marathon and not a sprint race, so we don't need to be going for the fastest lap here, but we do need to get our race pace back. We get a wash of oversteer, and our front left tyre just gets sheared clean off by the barrier there. That's a cynical 2-footer challenge and a definite red card. And yeah, there was no way in hell I was correcting this mistake here. I mean, we got the curb a little bit too much, and the wash of oversteer just changed our trajectory into the barrier. And yeah, there's no way we were going to survive that one. I mean, look, it took our wheel clean off, and yeah, my mechanics are just going to be in the garage fixing that one for a while, because that's a lot of damage. I think if there was a bigger runoff area, then we might have stood a chance of getting through that one, but the barrier came at us way too fast. And yeah, that means that's our first retirement in the series.
They've done it then. They've won. 1 here in Monaco with an emphatic performance and a victory they can be proud of for years to come. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So yeah, definitely not the race that I would have hoped for, as I do really enjoy Monaco despite it being a very challenging circuit. But yeah, nevertheless, Bottas takes the win and Hamilton climbs his way up from P11 to get himself onto that second place of the podium, and that means Mercedes get the 1-2 here at this infamous circuit, and Max Verstappen rounds out that podium position. It is a bit annoying that it is simulated due to my retirement, as I don't really think Hamilton would have had it in him to get up to that second place position. But saying that, he has done it in real life before, so who's to know. My teammate Felipe also managed to hold on to that P17 position from where he qualified, so that's congrats to him really, because not every rookie can get through Monaco and survive, so yeah, well done to him. Looking on to the standings now, and Bottas managed to take the pole position in the Drivers' Constructors' Championship, and notably Leclerc also moves up positions, but we managed to hold on to the P11 position with only 2 points in the season of ours. So hopefully we can look to get some more behind us in the next race, which is Azerbaijan. So that'll be a thrilling race, because that's one of my favourite circuits. So in the Constructors' Championship, nothing's really changed here. I mean, Mercedes is still top, Red Bull second, McLaren third. So yeah, if you did enjoy this race, then please make sure to hit that like button down below, as it means a lot as I'm trying to grow this channel. And if you want to subscribe, then please do, as I'm trying to post weekly F1 content as regularly as I can. So yeah, hopefully I'll catch you for the next video.